Hey, what's up everybody? We're gonna get a rolling here with a new plugin that, well, it's not new. I've never used this plugin before. It's the contact form plugin, or not the contact, it's not even the contact form plugin. The form builder plugin that PayloadCMS has as part of their ecosystem of plugins. They don't have many, but the ones that they do have are extremely helpful. They have like SEO, redirects, things like that, which come very much in handy. And so I'd like to see how the form builder plugin works, and what better way to do that than with the boilerplate that I've been making. So there are a couple of things that we'll be looking at here. First is, of course, the official documentation of the form builder plugin, but beyond that, we'll likely end up looking at the Git repository of their website template, which I think has the form builder plugin included in it. We obviously did not use that template, so we're kind of building from scratch here. So we will see how this goes. Ideally, it's not going to be too much of a struggle, but I've been feeling a little off today, so I'm hoping that I'm at least a little coherent. We'll see what happens. But it's going to be a journey regardless. So why don't we just jump in here? Let's see what we have going on. Let's move this down. All right, so the first thing I need to do is find my config file right there, and then we're going to go to the plugins section, and let's see if it lets me just import the plugin. Plug. I think I'm going to have to import form. I'm gonna have to import or install it, I think. So let's look at the documentation. That's not it. Oh, installation right there. Perfect. So we're just going to copy and paste this. We're gonna have to cancel out of that, but paste. Oops. Paste. Paste. There we go. So let that do its thing. And then from here we can import our form builder plugin. Form builder plugin. Okay, it just wasn't working for a second. Cool. And then we can go to our plugins, which I've lost again. There we go, plugins, and then we can just add it in here, form builder plugin, and then I believe, yep, we just need to, oof. Yeah, typing's been a little rough today. So what options do we have available here? So, to allow your admin editors to build forms with these fields, we can overall override your pass value. Okay, so yeah, sure. Let's do fields. We can set that to be text, true, text area. We'll do true. Select, I don't think I need. We'll do email, true. State, country, checkbox. Don't think I need any of those. I wonder what's the difference between message and text area. But I definitely don't need all of the fields. Let's go ahead and include select. I don't really care about state or country. And let's include checkbox. I can see why we would want that. True. All right, and then after that, redirect relationships. So this is, I guess, setting after they complete the form, what fields we want them to redirect to, or what what collections we want them to be redirected to. I don't typically like a redirect for a form submission, so we'll probably just handle that all on the front end, where it'll just refresh the form position. So instead of having like a landing page or something like that, or a confirmation page, don't need that. Before email, before change hook, after emails are prepared but not sent. So we can include an HTML template for an email to be sent. Not interested. Defaults to email. Provide a fallback for the email address to send form submissions to. The email's form configuration does not have to. This email address will be used if this is not provided. And so that tells me then that there should be a default to. There's not a default from. Oh, in the email configuration. Okay. Okay, so this is what it sends form submissions to, not where it is. It's not sending a confirmation to the person. It's here. Let's switch what side I'm on because I'm looking this way. When it's like if I was looking that way, it would make sense for the camera to be pointed. Whatever. I got distracted. So default to email, we'll set it to be my email. Perfect. And so that looks good. Form overrides, any of the form collection, don't need to worry about that. Form submission override. Yep. We're not handling payments, so we're good there. Fields. So each field represents a form input to override default settings past either a Boolean value or a partial payload block keyed to the block's slug. Interesting. Okay, so fields reference the fields to build, not to be confused with fields of a collection. Okay, so they are different. Interesting. So let's go back and take a look at what happens when I restart the server here. I think we're going to run into an issue because that probably installed the newest version of the blocks, or not the blocks, the form builder plugin. We're going to bring this back down to 5. So we don't want the most recent, so P and PMI. All right, now let's start our server. Get out of the package, come over here to the dashboard, and let's see, where does all of this go? Let that do it a reload. I thought I already did that. Is there any other? Let's open the package again, just to make sure that there's no other mismatching. No, I definitely did that. Perfect. All right, so I see we have forms and form submissions for our collections. How can I change that? Because I'd rather it not be collections. All right, so text. Well, let's see if we go back to, oh, I'm still here? Okay, so can we do, let's see what else is available to me. Form builder plugin. Plugin config, okay. Form overrides. All right, so that is everything that we looked at. So why does it default to be in the collections group? And the field override's not going to help me there. Screenshots. Well, I guess maybe there's not a way to, unless that installed a collection for me. Collections. And it does not look like it did. No. All right. Not a big deal. I don't like that it's just automatically in collections. I'd rather have it be like forms or form submission. Not the end of the world. But let's see. Just to make sure, fields option. Option for email, default to email. Oh, okay, so I can override. That is what this means. Okay, so if I do form overrides, I can set, let's say, admin group and set that to be form. Let's see if that would, yep, it worked. Forms, perfect. Why didn't the form submissions come down though? I guess that's the form submission. Okay, so I just glanced over these, but these are actually incredibly helpful. So we can override anything in those collections, which allows me to do what I need to do here. So group forms. So that should drop both of these into the forms group down here. Perfect, great. So let's make a contact form. Create new form, contact. We're going to add a new field. Okay, great, it's a block. Very easy. So we're going to need a, we'll say name, include your full name, field width, we'll say 50%, default value, none, not full name, we'll make this required. We'll add a field, so this will be name, this will be, let's actually delete this, and we're going to add a new field. We're going to do email. I shouldn't have country in here though, so maybe I need to, hold on, before I make any changes here, let's do email, 50% required, because I have to reach back out. So we're going to save this real quick, and then let's set, oh dang. All right, so before I move forward, so let's set country to false. And what else is available in here? Fields config, state payment, and I think that was it. Okay, so that's the message, I guess. State false, payment false. So refresh that, open this back up. All right, so now, okay, yeah. So what is message? I guess it's different. All right. Oh, well, I guess it allows a rich text. So I'm probably just going to use text area for the custom message to be sent in, because it sounds like, at least to me, it'll be difficult to have rich text rendered here. Let's move this back up. Get myself out of the way a little bit here. There we go. So let's try this again. Contract, contact. We're going to add a text, which will be full name, or full name, 50% required. We'll do email. Oh, that's right. Okay, so let's just do name for this. Do email for this, include, so instead of that, we can do full name. I misunderstood. Email is what the actual label will be. Field width, 50%. That's required. Then we'll do a text, wrong. We'll do a text area, message, name, we'll do message label. What do you want? I promise I'm not really that rude. Nothing's required there. And then I guess just a submit button. So we'll be contact me. And just do contact. All right, then we have a confirmation type, either message or a redirect. I would like a message. Send custom emails when the form submits. Use comma-separated list to send the same email to multiple recipients. Perfect. Oh, this is great. I like this a lot already. Webdesign.com. We don't need to CC. Reply to email from, sure. Received a new message. This is a test message saying you received a new message. And so if I wanted to email to multiple people, I can do that. To reference a value from this form, new message from name. The message includes message. All data and to format it as an HTML table in the email. I don't think I need to do all that. All right, great. So, oh, hopefully this is as cool as I think it's going to be. Test confirmation message. Great. So we have a contact form. Save that. Now, we want to add this form to our pages. We'll create a new, this will be our contact page. And then we want to add in the content, I'm assuming block or the form shows up here. It does not. So where does form show up? We'll look in here. Used to collect a simple string. So I wonder, does this then open up and I can, yes I can, okay. Perfect, I just want all of the fields though, so I'm cool with that. All right. So with all of these being true, I don't think that actually matters. State, maps to a select, friend, used to collect US state, country, checkbox. Nope. Okay, so this message can be used in the form. Great. Alright, so how do we then use this field overrides? Okay, that's fine. Examples. So how do I add this form to a page? Hero. I wonder, so if I leave anyway, I think the form then needs to be, let's go to forms, hit the contact here, API. So we have our fields. That means that I would query the form because it's a collection. And then I end up getting the confirmation message. This is very flat, which is great. The email is where I'm concerned here. Okay, so here's where we go to look at the documentation. So we're going to look at the website template. And then let's take a look over front end app maybe. Yeah, front end should be right. And then we'll go to page. Nope. Go to slug page. So do you have a form here? No. Yeah. Source. Items. Examples form builder. Let's start there. So source, collections, pages, index. So then blocks form. Source, blocks form, index. All right, let's go full screen here. So we have our examples here, our form builder. All right, so let's look back at website. Let's make sure that the actual plugin is here though. So if we go to our, I believe it's going to be in our source, then payload config, plugins, plugins from plugins, index. We see the form builder plugin. All right, so then let's see where this is put in anywhere. So page, slug, mobiles, page. Under blocks. Well, in that case, so let's go to look at our collections. And we'll go to pages and we'll look at index. Let's see here, we have our form block again, which is in our blocks form config. So that doesn't look like the plugin. So let's see then if we go to our, this is our pages config, we can go to our blocks somewhere, then collection, we see form block from blocks form config. But we don't want to create our own collection, or our own block rather. So hold on, where am I? Blocks, form. So all this is from the template. Oh, okay. So we want to set a relationship field to which form we would like. So, easy enough. So we'll say, we'll put it in our hero section so it's easy to find. So, well, actually we can put it in our sidebar. That would be even easier to find. So, okay, so right here we'll do name, form, type, do relationship, relation to forms. It's not going to be required. All right, so we can then go back over to our collections, go to pages. Now let's create that contact page. Contact with our form being contact. And here we'll just choose our normal thumbnail here. That will be populated. Page status will be published. Did that save contact form? Perfect. Don't know why that didn't save. And we can save. And now we'll see what happens. Localhost contact. Nothing. 2 child process exceeding retry limit. All right, so first let's just go back to our home page and go to contact from there. Okay, so this is where I thought I fixed this already. So we're going to go back, then look at our package, JSON again, and do pnpmi. It's already up to date, so I should already let's plug in search. Let's do that. Now do pnpmi. And hopefully this will now work. Though I shouldn't be able to see anything because I don't think I have anything rendered for our form. I do not. Perfect. Okay, so I've got an image. I don't have any of the SEO stuff input though, so we'll auto-generate a title. Oh, let's add the auto-generate functions for the SEO here. So let's take a look at our post collection. And then in the SEO stuff, oh, I think I have to do this in the config. So I have generate URL, which is fine, generate description, which I did not do. Okay, so plugins, too far down. Here we go. All right, generate image, generate description. So then I should be able to go to this, go to our SEO thing. Preview field, our meta description field should have, has generate function true, has generate function true, true. Let this refresh real quick. Description. So do I not have a description field like I thought I had? Description. I don't. So what do I want? The image should work. Still get this out of the way. Okay. So content, image. Okay, so I don't have a description or so in that case I won't do, yeah, and it makes sense to not have a description generated or an image generated for just this collection. I don't think it's very necessary. So we're good here. There's a preview that apparently I can, whatever, canonical works. Site name should have a default value. Perfect. So we've got our, well, let's should be fine. So now if I refresh this, oh, I didn't put anything in. Auto generate, choose from existing, do the same old. This is a test description. Type, save, refresh. Now here we need to put in our form. So how do they do this on the front end? So we'll go to website, then we'll say our source, website, that should be right, source. And I guess blocks form component. Okay, so they have a whole component here. And I wonder, can I import this component? I don't think I can. So we're just going to steal it, because that's the way to go. So we'll do blocks, and then we'll set a new how do I want to do this? New, let's do directory, we'll do form, and then we'll set a new file that we will call component, and then let's just copy the raw file, do that. Okay, so we got to do a couple things. So each of these form fields index. Okay. Oh, this is going to be fun. The only way, I'm going to have to do each of these individual fields by myself then. And each of them are going to need to be styled in their own specific way, it seems. But that's not the end of the world. Okay. So let's see how they do it, but I'm going to have to do my own. So form, we'll do so they've got some interesting stuff going on, and I think some of this is using Tailwind, which is not going to be fun. So let's think this through. Yeah, because they export const checkbox, then form. They have fields, which then they export all the fields here. All right, well, this is what we're here for, right? Let's get started. So we're going to change how they style things, but we're going to take their structure. So we have our source, our blocks, our form. We have our main form component. So let's start with the checkbox. So directory, checkbox, new file, index.tsx. So we can copy all of this. And then I don't have an error, a width, or a checkbox UI thing here. But they do, so let's take a look at what these are. So if I go to error, all right, so form, error, so we'll start there. New directory, error, then we'll do a new style sheet to start, index.module. That. Cool, I don't have a color red. What do they have it set as? If I may see. I apparently may not. I may. Okay, so it's complete red. So we will just do all right. And then in our error, we'll do a new file index.tsx. Oops. Index, and then import it. And so what this is doing is that it's taking the class's error from here, and then we have a React component that returns this is a required message in red. So perfect, that works. We have export error, we're good there. Perfect. So error is set. Let's go back to form and find width, which is the other thing that's going to be across all of them. Great, so we will then create a new directory with width. And then I could just copy and paste all of this from their Git repository, but why would I do that? That's too easy. So we'll say index.jsx or tsx. And then we can do a new style sheet. Do index.module. This, copy that. All right, so we have this placed somewhere else. Where do we have, is it queries? I don't remember what I have it called as. I know I have bars. Public? No. Okay. Include. Where's my CSS? Things get lost so easy. All right, it's definitely not in public. App, payload, no, not payload, app. Then I've got CSS. Okay, so let's do. All right, so here, app, CSS, and then we've got queries. There we go. So now that will enable that, and then width, come back here. And so if you're just joining, we're working on getting our form plugin working. And I'm just really stealing all of Payload's styles for what they have for their forms, and I can adjust it however we see fit. But first I need to get a form actually shown in order for that to work. And so each of these have an error and a width. And then I see these checkbox UI. So we've got some UI stuff to go look at, like label. So let's go back to their source components. UI is not there, so it must be under payload, all the way at the very top. Not quite that far. So app, payload, app. All right, so it's not quite that far either. Finding components, which I thought was this. Oh, I'm back in examples form builder. So let's go to their website template. And that's where I'm at now. And here, front end, search posts, next slug, page. So let's see, where is there a form? Front end. Go back up to the app. Really the source is where we want to be. Then blocks. Then form. All right, so this is back where we wanted to be. All right, so we've got width done. We've got error done. Now we need to go up to source, components, UI, and then label. So here we're going to take their label that they use, and so here I don't love that they're going to be using Tailwind for this, but I may be able to add my own styles to it, but we'll see. So let's see what we have. If we're at our components, I think I already have this, which is why I'm looking. Yeah, UI, and then I have my label. And that is exactly the same. So label is good. I think this is just, I don't have a checkbox component. That's right, that's why that's showing up. So then they've got this checkbox, which will then copy, and in the UI create a new file, checkbox.tsx. Put that in there. And again, we're going to have Tailwind in here, as well as some Radix stuff. And Lucide, whatever. All good. That's now in there, and I should have checkbox set. Okay. So great. Let's work on the next. And I'm only going to use the components that I'm using so far for our forms. So let's actually go and leave UI open, because I'm going to need a couple of these, I think. Don't actually know that. So we're going back to app, front end. This is wrong. I'm going to go to source, blocks, form. And then I'm not going to use country. I will use email. So let's open that up. Take this, input and label. So I'm going to, I have UI here, so I need input. Copy that. Oh, I already have input. Great. So let's copy all of this, come up to our blocks, go to form, create a new directory for our email, and then add a new copyright, new, dang it, man, new TypeScript file, call it index, and then paste all of this email field stuff, and that just works automatically. Great. Love that journey for me. Go to form. I already did error, so we've got that. I've got width. I will need something for message, so let's go ahead and open that up. Okay. Do a new form block, directory, message. Do a new TypeScript file. We're going to do index. Ooh, I cannot spell today. Refresh, rename index. And then copy this message. Now, they have a different rich text component than I do. And then for some reason, the width doesn't have type string is not assignable to type number. So that means I need to set this to be a number, but that doesn't work. So we'll come back to that just in case, but I have import I have my own rich text serializer, so I'm going to import serialize lexical and replace this with serialize lexical with nodes message dot root dot should be dot children. There we go. Weird. All right. So width needs to be assignable to type number, but let's number or string. That makes things odd though. Let's see if that actually becomes an issue. I'm not sure it is going to. Checkbox. I don't know if any of these are going to show up. Oh, I guess they will. All right. So back here, we can delete this rich text. Should be good to go. So we'll keep that in mind. But we've got our message. We can then move down to number, which I don't think I have included in our form. So let's take a look at that. And if you're just joining, we're talking about forms. So let's see here. We've got our message, we've got our email and our name, which is a text. So I don't think we want to worry too much about any of these other fields we're not using quite yet. So we will end this part with just the text option. So we'll go to form, create a new directory. And I know this is not the most sexy part of setting up a project, but getting the form builder working is going to be, I think, key for what I'm trying to do. So we're going to take this text field. We've got input, we've got React. All right, so all of this should be good. I will come back for that. And then we're going to come back up to form. We're going to take their fields.tsx, TypeScript fields. And then how they did this is how we're going to do it as well. But we don't have any of these right now. We'll add them later. I don't have a number one, so I don't know why that didn't go away either. Okay, so let's just comment all those out. And so I have all of these fields. And then we're going to come here to component. And we're going to change this to be our own serialize lexical that I have. We'll find where they have their button. We'll figure out this get URL and initial form state as well. But we're going to replace this with my own lexical serializer. Set these to be nodes. Intro content dot root dot children. I don't think that needs to be a question mark. And then do the same thing here. Dot root children. I don't even think that needed it. Enable gutter. I don't even have that, so I'm going to erase that. And then all of that should be good. So now we just need to get our UI button, which I have here, UI, got a button. And so we're setting up our form builder plugin by using payloads, inputs, and stylings just to make my life easier. We've already built the form. It's over here. It's just a contact form with a name, email, and message, which is a text area. So rather than a message, that means, though, I need to add a text area component. So first, though, we're going to create a new TypeScript file, and we're going to do a button. So we'll fix, button's good. So That's there. So we need to actually go to our fields. We are going to use a text area. So we're going to come back up here to the form, add a new directory for text area. And then we're going to create a new TypeScript file and do index. Great. So here we need a text area, do index, and yank that. Then it looks like they have a UI component for that as well. So we come back up to UI. We take the UI down here, do a new TypeScript file that's text area.tsx. I have no idea what any of these are going to look like, so I'm going to keep most of these windows open. So when we actually get to the styling, I'm going to be able to edit these how I want them to be instead of how Payload has it, because most of these are built with Tailwind and some like component libraries, which I don't use a whole lot of. So I want to make sure that these are what I want them to look like. All right, so now we have our fields. That's going to have our text area, email, and text field at the very least. Now we need to find their build initial form state and then their get URL utility. So let's go there first. We have our utilities, get URL, which if this is for a redirect, we're not going to do this because I'm not going to use redirects in our form. So redirect, get redirect. It does not look like that is the case. So where does this get URL get used? Oh, get client signed URL is what I'm looking for. So it's used at submit form. Data submit form on submit. All right, so we'll still add this. All right, so and I really want to review what a lot of this is doing, but first and foremost is getting the form ready to go. So let's go to our utilities. We'll add a new file, which we'll call geturl.ts. Paste all that in there, see what breaks. Can use DOM is one of the things. So I need to add that to my utility. New file, can use dom.ts. Great. Get URL, great. Component, I now have that. So now the last part is getting the initial form state. So if we go to our blocks, if we go to our form, it should be in here, build initial form state, copy that, go to our form, create a new, make this easier on myself, a new file called build initial form state, paste all of that, nothing breaks. Message is still expecting width to be a type number. Oh, so why don't we do width 100. Class name is expecting string, which is there, but children string class name. Okay. It works when that doesn't work, but all right, whatever. Let's just move on here. If it breaks, it breaks. I don't really need message anyway. So build initial form state should be done, except this needs to be in form, which is, it isn't form. So build initial form state, go up to form, go down to component, build initial form state. Cannot find declaration to go to, build initial form state. It's right there. You guys see it, right? Export const build initial form state. Oh, I misspelled it. Do that quite a bit, especially today. I've not been feeling the greatest, so I've been trying to just muscle through it. But all the sugar and carbs of the holidays will do that to you, right? All right. So now we have all of the form stuff built. So now, if we want to use this, we need to go to our pages, go to our slug, page slug, and then come down to our actual page, and we're going to go down to probably, I think, below show blocks. We'll do it at the top of the page under hero, just so I can see it in action. And we're going to look up our form. Oh, I bet I didn't have to do any of that. Well, so first, let's see what we need to do. I don't know if that's actually the correct thing. So we have, it's called component. So let's import component from, all right, well, you know what? Let's actually try it. So let's import form. I'll be a little mad if this just works without. All right, form from PayloadCMS. Don't have any children. So fields, we're going to come here to our API, which we will need. Let's go first to our pages. We'll go to our contact page, and then we'll go to our API to look at what that looks like. And so we have no content, no meta, form. All right, so this is its own tab, it seems. Oh no, it's its own field because, yeah, it's its own field because it's in the sidebar. All right, so what we're going to do is deconstruct this and have our form, and then we can do, why do I have that? I guess I need to fix that as well. So then we can do form. I know that's not right, but gets me started. All right, so then we can do our fields equals our form dot fields type of form does not equal string. Okay, so that's not working like I wanted to. So next step is bringing in our component. So component. Let's see what we got here. So this is export const form block. So we will import form block. Come on down. We have form and our form block. Can I get rid of that? Is that required? Form, so enable intro, we'll just do false. Type string form is not assignable to type form. Okay, so I can do type of form does not equal string. Let's just see what happens. Refresh. And I get kind of a form. So that's cool. We got a field, and I think none of this works because I don't have Tailwind installed, so not the end of the world. But now I can actually go in and style this exactly how I want it to be styled. The problem, though, is I don't like having errors. Errors drive me crazy. So the expected type comes from property form, which is declared here on type. So I wonder, instead of doing form there, can I do content.form? Type of content is not equal string. Okay, so no. So we'll leave it like this for now. I don't actually need that, so if I refresh it, we'll fix the error later. But let's do some styling before we call it quits tonight. Why don't we? So we have our form block. Looks like trash down here, but that's okay because we can go into each of our fields and add some styles. So before we move on, though, so there's two errors that we need to come back and address. The first is our hero block and our form block. So we're going to come back to the contact form. So to do review contact form, or really it's form error, then review hero block error. Great. So we're going to style out our contact form and then end the stream there, because then we can just check off this one to-do list, which is what I set out to do today. So let's see what we have in the component, which is not what we're looking for. So we're going to come down to our form component right there. And then we have email. Well, actually, so we can style these ourselves. So if we go to width, which that's going to be right, so that's okay. Classes from index. All right, so I need to figure out what their base variable is in their width. So if I go to form, we go to width, and then we can see, oh no, this is the, oh, the width class. Okay. So we go to width. Yeah, that was right. Because width has that index. So we go to form, we go to width, index. I swear I just copy and pasted this, but now I'm seeing a classes I wonder where this is actually from then. Well, I'm still going to use this. So let's see what their base class is. Do that, do base. Width. Form. So width index. Well, let's just copy and paste this then. Because if there's no index, then I think I just copy and pasted wrong. Which is very likely. Refresh that. Still nothing. But now let's style this how I want it to be styled. So in email, we have width, which is the width provided by the form, which should be 50%. So I'm not sure exactly why. Maybe it's the full name, which is text, is also having a weirdness. Width of 50%, width 50, which then we click into here, max width equals width. Let's refresh and let's take a look at what's happening to our style. And so if you're just joining, we're styling the form builder plugin, and right now I'm trying to figure out why we're not seeing any of the styles. And a lot of these are Tailwind styles, which I have not been using. So of course, just reinstalling Tailwind would fix most of this. So, you know, let's just take the easy path. Why don't we? At least until I can fix it. So let's go to our global CSS, which is actually up here. And let's see how much this breaks. Hopefully nothing. Ooh, it doesn't actually do anything for me. Let's refresh or restart the server just to make sure. Well, that's refreshing. Let's go. Yeah, okay, so Tailwind actually didn't do anything for me either. So we're going to delete all of the Tailwind styles that we see and put in our own. So there's none here. So max width is width, or width is 50%. So yeah, again, looking at this, I think it's because I need to change this to be, where's the max width? Oh, right here. No, interesting. Okay, so for some reason width 50% is not being set like I want it to be. All right, no biggie. All right, so let's refresh that. We have width here. I did see max width of 50%, so that's working correctly. Then we have width with no class name. And I don't see any Tailwind styles here, except in label. Or maybe not. So let's take a look. Label, yeah, so there are class name, okay. Oh, it's right there. Okay, so let's go ahead and get rid of that, which will then allow me to set my own styles. But let's start with the input, because that's the thing that I'm missing the most right now. So we will go down to our input UI. Something else is messed up here. Oh, don't need that. All right, label, input. All right, so we don't want any of these class names. Great. So if I save that, all those class names go away. So now we can, in our UI, add a new style sheet, and we'll just do index. We could add a different folder for each of these UI pieces, but that just seems like overkill. So we'll do input. I really can't spell today. And we'll just do outline 1 pixel solid black just to get something going. And then we can do as well classes dot, which I need to import classes from our index. Oh, I need to do module. Refactor, rename index dot module. Import classes from index.module .scss, and then we can do classes dot input. So that should bring an outline ideally. Yep, there they go. And I was not really anticipating styling a form today, but that's all right. Let's do the button, which let's don't need to do anything with button variants. We can just keep class name, size, and variant. Get rid of those. Get rid of all of these. I'm sure there's a very good reason to do all of that, but not for me. If I delete that, am I good? Just about. Don't need any, well, we'll keep that. Okay, don't need that. Oh, so let's do slot. Our comp is button React forward ref class name. I don't think I need that. I do. So why does that not exist on type? Well, we'll see how this goes. All right, go ahead and get rid of all of those. And do that, and then add classes dot submit button. We'll import classes from our index. Here we will do our submit button, and then let's just set a I don't actually want that outline, it's just how it is right now, but no biggie. Then we can do submit button. Let's set our background color to our primary, dark primary. No, dark primary. And then set our color to be our light primary. Perfect. And then we can do padding of 1 rem. And then we will take care of the whole form in a different way. So, because I'm going to need to add some more styling here. Okay, so in our input, in our label, we're going to get rid of those, and then we're going to import classes from index.module. Then we're going to do that, then classes, nope, that's not what we're going to do. We're going to do classes dot label, and we'll set, I think we can do display to be block, and that should push it down. Perfect. We will set color to be dark primary, and then we will do our, let's do a margin bottom at the end of our input. Do margin bottom of 1 rem, should be plenty, should be too much actually. No, it's fine. All right, and so now I want to know why I can't do my width of 50% for, oh, okay, so it's setting, well, no, because that's margin bottom of 6, which is, so the problem is here in these two, that the div of our, so this is the width, this must be something on top of the width. So we have our class name, and then when we're returning the form, we go to the component, which is our form block, and then that's what this is, the form block, and then in, where's our return? So return, we have our container, oh, that's it right here. So container large max, which again, we're not using Tailwind, so we will set our own styles up later. And let's just comment that out. Then that renders this P4, which we will come here and comment this out. Then that's an error, and then here's our form. Form ID on submit, handle submit. Okay, so then we have our MB4 here, which we will comment that out. And then here is where I'm running into my issues, because I want this to take the width of the field, which I don't think, maybe it will. So if I can do width, or it should be style, and then if I can do width of field dot width. Oof, this is driving me crazy. Field dot. So I'm getting block name and block type from that, which is fine, but fields, field block type, const field, if field. Fields dot text dot. All right, so we'll figure this out in a minute. But regardless, we don't need any of that stuff. So let's get the class name out of here. Then we have this button that's throwing an error. Oh, variant is not what I'm looking for, so we can get rid of that. Form type and then children. So that's working, but okay. Go to button. Oh, it's the class name thing. So class name. Props. And really, I don't need that class name there, so I'm just going to remove that and let this stop throwing an error. Back to the component. Still seeing something here, not assignable to property children does not exist on type of button. So do props children, I guess. Whatever. it's working. That's what really matters here. All right, then we have our form ID, submit button, and the label right there. So great. Now, to style things up, we need this. Form serialized lexical. Says form ID, fields, return, field. Okay. So, when we return field, if we go to field here, fields, field block type. So, let's just do, just to see, if we were to do style and then set width to be 50%. That's going to set all of my widths to 50%, or at least it should. It does. So, different option here. Let's style the form as a flex. So, we're going to have our form up here, and we're going to do a class name of classes dot form, which means then, just in case, yep, we're going to import classes from an index.module.css, and then we'll go up to our form, add a new style sheet, and have this to be index.module. And then we're going to do our form. I don't actually remember what I set as the class name, or if I did at all. Yep, form. Okay, so we're going to set this to be display flex. And let that do its thing, ideally. No, because the inner, oh no, that's right, okay. So within the form then, well, it's form, yep. So it's inside the div that I actually want to use our display. So just to see what it looks like, we'll refactor this in a little bit. But now we have our display flex, and then we can do flex. We won't do flex direction, we'll just do flex and then do 1, 1, and then do 50%. For whatever the internal is. Div, all right, so it's another div. So we can remove that max width, I believe. Oh, so let's do display flex, and then we'll do a gap 1 rem, and then set this to be calc 50% minus 1 rem. 1, 0. There we go. We're missing the wrap. Should be wrap. There we go. And now is this 100% like I want? No. So why isn't this display block? Maybe it is. Oh boy, okay. So we're getting there. And then under form, we have our button, which we can align, or let's see if we can justify contents center. No, because the form is not. So let's set this to be display flex, flex direction column. There we go. And then in the form, we can set a margin bottom of 1 rem. The button can be a width of auto. So it's not justify content of center. So is there a width that's taking place? So let's do display flex, sure. No. All right. Okay, div. All right, we're making progress, making progress. Dog's going crazy, but making progress. All right, so. Okay, nope. So 50%. All right, so yes, so I need to set maybe display to be inline. No? Okay. I don't know what's making this take up its full space. So we're going to change that to then let it be a width of maybe like 2 rem. That's not enough. 20 rem is probably what I meant. Yep, there we go. And then I can do align items center. Form. Okay, so the form, then each of these divs. Well, then the button, though. All right, well, let's include our rounded, which will then we'll need to use app CSS, then vars as try that again. All right, so then we got rounded. All right, so the problem though is this width. So all the form divs are a part of this flex now, which is fine. That's what I want. So all of those divs are good, but then the button is included between. We've got a form with a div and a button. Here, let me go handle my dog real quick. He handled himself. Love that. All right, so in here we have a form that is our flex, with flex direction column. Yes, that's exactly what we want. And then a margin bottom of 1. Great. I guess the form doesn't need to be flex. So then we can just do rid of that and then do text align center. I guess text align center should be up here still. There we go. But that's not actually what I want. So I've got this button which I can put into a new div. Do class name classes.button container. And then above this, do button container. And then set display to flex, do justify content center. Button container, selector matches unknown element, button container. All right, what happens? All right, so let's see. Button container. What is happening? Oh, I have a comma there. All right, let's refresh that. And then I will be right back. All right, so what am I trying to do? All right, submit button. Let's set the width now to auto. And still not doing what I wanted to do. So we now have our button container and a submit button. So I need to fix that, but first, form all right. So our button container, our form is no longer a flex. This div is a flex. This div, no, form is a flex. And it should be. So, no. Oh, form div is a flex. Okay. All right, so let's get rid of, where's our text align sender? Get rid of view. We need button to be display. We'll say inherit. Unset maybe. Display flex. Width auto. This is driving me crazy. Because what width? Oh, it's the grow, isn't it? No, it is. Width auto. All right, and so this just needs to be div. There we go. All right. Oof. All right, so now we have our text area, which I still need to work on. And so here, I'm just going to test this form real quick. Just do that, and hit continue or contact. And test confirmation message, great. So here I can see all of that like custom messaging. Oh, I do not have music going. I swear I had this on repeat. Oh, I wonder if that's why people have been coming and going. No music. Whoopsie. No biggie. All right, so I just tested a form submission. It works great. I didn't have to do anything else other than, I still have to like style it, but I can see that the email was sent to, and with this subject, you've received a new message from me. And all of that was set from our form. There we go. And if I go to contact, I was able to, where it says you received a new message from my name, I can put that from this using the double brackets, just like we did. So that's awesome. And then the form submissions, I can see it here. And then we could even, just one last thing before we end the stream. If we go to our payload config, in form submissions, we're going to have use. Is it under admin is uses title? Yeah, it is. Okay. Uses title. Let's see what fields are available to us. There we go. And then we could do submission datum. I guess maybe the ID is what makes the most sense. But if we did use as title, yeah, because it needs to be a top level field, so this won't work anyway. So that's it. I know that's an anticlimactic way to end this, but what we need to do next time. So I'm going to come over here to my to-do list is in our pages here. We've got a couple errors to review. We're going to continue styling our contact form. We just have, we're making progress. So I want this to be a full name, email 50/50, and then the submission taking up 100% of the width of our form, and then the contact button being a little bit more separated than it is right now. But we're at a good place to stop now with where we are in the form submission. So I hope to do a little bit more of a deep dive with this in a tutorial here soon. Again, this is the first time that I've used the form builder, so I'm excited to use a little bit more. It probably would have been a lot easier if I used component libraries or Tailwind or anything like that and just had that already in there, but I like to do things the hard way, so we'll style it again another time. But for now, I think this is a good place to call this quits. I've kind of already lost my mind a little bit, but I want to thank you all for watching. If you have any questions, comments, please leave them in the comment section. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already. I drop a lot of videos around PayloadCMS, tutorials, information, everything that you would want to know, and of course these live streams where I actually use PayloadCMS in the wild. So for now though, I'll see you next time.